Welcome to this place called Earth and the project, Somatic Inversions, Behavioural Manipulations. In this short, somatic shame binding, how you're trained to regulate their emotions instead of your own. In this short, we explore and expose the mechanisms that shape behaviour beneath awareness. When their discomfort becomes your emergency, there is a moment in relational manipulation that is so subtle most people miss it. The moment when someone else's emotional state becomes more important than your own. You feel their disappointment and immediately tighten. You see their frustration and instantly shrink. You sense their sadness and start scrambling to fix it, not because you want to, because your nervous system treats their discomfort as a threat to your safety. This is somatic shame binding, a conditioning process that trains you to regulate other people's feelings before you even recognize your own. Shame as a nervous system trigger. Shame is not a moral emotion. It is a physiological collapse. Researchers like June Tangney, Michael Lewis, and Stephen Porges describe shame as a rapid shift into dorsal vagal shutdown. The chest caves, the breath shortens, the head drops, the mind fogs, speech becomes difficult, and self-worth contracts. Manipulators weaponize this reflex, because if they can make you feel shame, they can make you abandon yourself and tend to them instead. The partner who makes you responsible for their mood. In emotionally abusive relationships, this pattern often begins subtly. They sigh, their tone changes, their face hardens. Their silence sharpens the room. You feel it instantly, not in your mind, but in your gut, your breath, your posture. This has been summarized by the victim's dynamic perfectly. If they were upset, I automatically felt like I had done something wrong. This is a responsibility distortion. Your body becomes the caretaker of their emotional weather. Your regulation becomes secondary to theirs. Your nervous system reorganizes itself around their needs. This is not love, it is entrainment. The family that taught you to carry shame binding rarely starts in adulthood. Children raised in households where anger was unpredictable, parents blamed them for emotional reactions, affection was withdrawn when they upset someone, conflict led to guilt induction, look what you made me do. Emotional caretaking was expected. Learn that their survival depends on managing other people's moods. This becomes a lifelong imprint. Your adult relationships simply activate an old somatic script. If they're upset, I must fix it. But that script isn't yours, it was installed. When groups weaponize shared shame cults, extremist groups, and high-control organizations use shame binding as a central mechanism of control. In NXIVM, members were shamed publicly for weakness, defiance, or low value. In Scientology, ethics violations and emotional reactions were reframed as personal failures. In rigid religious groups, sin, rebellion, and impurity become tools of emotional coercion. The pattern is always the same. To induce shame, to create collapse, to offer belonging as relief, to tie worth to compliance and redirect emotional responsibility to the individual. You end up regulating the group's emotional equilibrium by sacrificing your own. Governments and corporations use shame to control behavior. Social compliance campaigns often rely on shame binding. Good citizens do X. Bad people don't care about Y. If you don't support this, you're immoral. Advertising and social media use shame to create behavioral change. Body shame marketing, fear of missing out messaging, you're not enough unless. Campaigns, moral outrage cycles, and online mobbing. Shame doesn't persuade you. It regulates your behavior by dysregulating your body. Your nervous system changes first. Your beliefs follow. The somatic contract you never agreed to. Shame binding teaches you to soothe others before yourself, to anticipate their emotions before your own, to abandon your needs to stabilize theirs, to treat your internal discomfort as guilt, and to believe their emotional pain is your responsibility. You become the caretaker, the regulator, the stabilizer, the emotional shock absorber. Not because you choose to, but because shame collapses your autonomy faster than fear. The inversion we were taught: don't upset people, be considerate, don't be selfish, keep the peace. You make others comfortable. But the inversion is this: you don't manage other people's emotions because you're kind. You manage them because shame was used to train your nervous system into prioritizing their regulation over your own. Their discomfort became your emergency because your body was conditioned to believe it was. So to close this short, somatic shame binding isn't care, it's survival. And seeing it clearly is the beginning of taking your body back.